Gross. Life Advice Radio is the only radio talk show where you send in questions that would best be answered by a therapist, and me, a radio host without a degree, does my best to give you sound advice. I'm your host, Shirley Knott, and you're listening to my side hustle, Life Advice Radio. This week, we will be peppering in ASMR into the show for a therapeutic effect. Listeners beware if you have sensitive hearing. Our first question is from Carol. She's a 45-year-old middle school teacher from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. She's experiencing a dry spell of sorts. Let's see if we can help her out. Hi, Shirley. My husband and I have been together for over 30 years. He is the absolute love of my life. We've traveled the world together, helped each other grow professionally and personally. But these past 3 years have felt like a plateau, as if the romance in our relationship is gone and there is no more spark or playfulness. I do love him, really. I'm hoping you can give me a little advice on how to make things spicy again. Thank you. Love, Carol. Carol. Oh. Relationship plateaus happen all the time and are nothing to be scared of, especially in a committed marriage. If you want to maintain an interesting, sexy relationship, the key is to remain curious and open-minded about the person you're with. I'd like to suggest an incredible tip that I've used in my own marriage to keep the fire alive. Show interest in your partner's interest. My husband Tom is an avid baseball watcher. Now, sports containing excessive balls repulse me, but I'm willing to dabble in a little ball play to keep my marriage interesting. The easiest way to do that? Mirror his body language. One weekend some months ago, Tom was watching his favorite team lose again, and I had noticed that he seemed a little tense and quiet around the house, so I got to work. I put on my biggest cargo shorts with the most unique stain on the left leg and threw on one of his old baseball caps. Grabbing 2 Guinness and our industrial-sized container of salted peanuts, I walked up behind him lounging silently on the couch and slapped the hell out of his good shoulder. I said, "Hey man, got you more brew?" And plopped down on the other end of the couch. Now, I thought this wasn't working because Tom just took the beer and grunted. But then, he put his hand in his pants and continued watching the last quarter of the game. This is only something he does when he is relaxed. So I knew I was on the right track. I threw my free hand in my pants as well and tossed some salted peanuts into the air to show my manly dexterity. Only 2 landed in my mouth, the rest fell into the slits of the couch, a snack for Tom later on. This got his attention. Tom briefly looked me up and down and cleared his throat, obviously stifling the new air of sexual tension. Let's just say that Guinness wasn't the only gross thing being gulped that night. And I wish the same to you, Carol. Let's take a quick break. Then we'll answer our last question for the hour. Now, a brief word from our sponsor. Have you been feeling stuck with nowhere to go? Well, feel stuck no more with Farmer Jack's all-natural stool softener. With a short 30-minute activation time, we advise you to stay near a toilet. Powered by prune concentrate, nature will flow through you like the sands of time if the sand was wet. The next time life tries to stop you, pick up Farmer Jack's organic, gluten-free elixir. Life's about to get shitty. And we're back. Our last question comes from Ben. He's a 25-year-old college student who's feeling some guilt about his future. We've all been there. Let's read what he's got to say. Hey Shirley, I'm currently an undergrad working on a business degree. When I started school, I was excited that even if I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with my degree, at least it would give me more options, or maybe make my dad less worried. Now that I'm 3/4 of the way through, I've been getting hit with the feeling that this was all for nothing, because now I know it's not what I want. Yesterday, I finally told my mom how I was feeling, and she was empathetic as always. It's my dad I'm worried about. For years, I've been pursuing photography as a side hobby. I've gotten good enough to have accumulated a small list of clients. A chunk of it is helping a few local social media influencers to make content. But a year ago, I was hired by a national park to document the animals and natural structures for their socials and official website. It's completely changed my life. I'm never as happy as I am when I'm crouched on the ground, trying not to breathe so I can get the perfect shot of whatever animal is out that day. And when the clouds are just right, Shirley, I don't think I can go back to school. My dad is scared that if I don't have a desk job that I'll just starve and die. And anytime I brought up pursuing photography, I get that look. The please don't start this again, I have a heart condition look. I really don't want to hurt my family. But even the idea of spending the rest of my life pushing papers makes me feel like I cannot breathe. What do I do, Ben? Thank you for your question, Benjamin. The fear of disappointing our parents is familiar to so many of us. It makes sense that you're at a bit of a crossroads. Let me tell you a story that's been passed through my family for generations. It dates back to 2007. This story starts in old El Paso. One dark and stormy night, a young family of 4 was faced with an impossible decision that almost broke them. Paralyzed by decision fatigue, the wife stood hunched over the kitchen island, sobbing into her hands. Fearful that her inability to make a choice would anger her husband and devastate their marriage beyond repair. Then, an angel appeared, draped in a purely gold aura of light. When the angel finally spoke, he said, "Make the kids choose, since they always want to act grown." The shaking wife fell to her knees. She thanked the spirit creature and vowed to do just that. Later that evening, while everyone was in the living room, she posed the dreaded question to her children. "I'm making tacos for dinner. Do you guys want hard or soft shells?" The children gasped, and her husband took both cigarettes out of his mouth. Her son seemed perplexed by the question, but quickly suggested that they write the words hard and soft on 20 small slips of paper. Then they'll mix up the paper scraps and draw their choice out of a large brimmed hat. A problem occurred when the boy drew a small piece of paper labeled soft. The family erupted in conflicting disagreement until the wise 5-year-old sister raised her tiny, very wise hand. She used her bass baritone voice and broke a generational curse by making a life-altering suggestion.
¿Por qué no los dos?
The room went silent. Suddenly, an emphysema-filled laugh ricocheted through her father. "Daughter, that was actually so tea. Why is this the first time it's clocking to me?" And so I posed the same question to you, Ben. Why not both? The reality of life is that we are not going to walk through it without disappointing a few people along the way, especially our parents. But that doesn't make pursuing your passions the wrong choice. In the wise words of Queen Latifah, people always want to say, well, you're never going to do this, and you're not going to do that. No, you're not going to do that, and that's why you can't see me doing it. Ben, we can't let someone else's limited worldview stop us from chasing the things that bring us joy. If everyone listened to the people who told them, hey, people can't fly, or you'll never eat that many hot dogs in 10 minutes, then the world would no longer house extraordinary people. I believe in you, Ben. And maybe this will shock you, but you are so close to getting your degree. You should absolutely grind to the home stretch and finish strong. Or finish Sigma. That's too much. That business degree, paired with your love of photography, will take your entrepreneurial spirit to the moon. You are in the middle of a rare moment in your life where you don't have to give up anything. You can have it all, Ben, if you want. Maybe in the beginning, your father will have a hard time understanding your choice, but he will be okay. Yet, I never want to live in a world where you don't get to hold your breath and look at clouds. You deserve that much, Benjamin. You didn't need my advice as much as you just needed permission. Well, here you go, Ben. You know what you want. Go and get it. I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in to another episode of Life Advice Radio. A special thank you to today's sponsor, Farmer Jack's All Natural Stool Softener, for making those stuck moments loose again. We appreciate those who wrote a letter to the show. And remember, folks, it's not always about sacrifice. Never be afraid to make a bisexual choice. Until next time, I'm your host, Shirley Knott, and you're listening to the ASMR Week of Life Advice Radio. Good night.